This is the Balancing Act by Security Compass, your guide to going fast while staying safe in today's digital world. Today we are joined by Altaz Valani from Security Compass and Purnima Bihari, product owner at Security Compass, to talk about how managing a fast-moving product delivery lifecycle while ensuring security is a challenging task. Purnima will share insights from her experience about the role a product owner plays in injecting security early into the product lifecycle and the impact being a security champion can make on ensuring product security. We will also discuss the skills required to adopt a balanced approach to speed and security.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast today. Our guest speaker is Purnima Bihari. She is a product owner at Security Compass. Purnima, welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Great. So Purnima, we hear a lot about the importance of a product owner in an era where a lot of things are moving in the direction of DevOps and Agile, and it's all about speed. But at the same time, we have to balance security. So my question to you is, as a product owner, what is the role of a product owner in facilitating both speed and security when it comes to product delivery?
So a product owner's role in an agile environment is to maximize the value that you get from a product created by the Scrum team. You need to know what needs to be built, understand how we get to the end goal, strategize on how to get it delivered faster, and iterate successfully using feedback loops. You're responsible for maintaining a balance between development, delivery, and profit making parts of the software value chain. In a traditional software model, like a waterfall or spiral model, it was easier to manage risk on a project to project basis, where you could just bake in risk contingency into your project plan. In a fast moving agile environment, it's way more challenging because you have a much smaller concept to cache window, and it's hard to bake in security when you have a constantly moving target. This whole balancing act comes with the temptation to prioritize the money makers, or what we commonly call feature work first, and prioritize security later. But if we give into that temptation, we're introducing a whole host of problems down the line, especially security risks that might have disruptive results on the customer side. What good would a feature or product be if it's not reliable, not available, and the customer does not feel secure with it? Yeah, so to avoid disruptions like this, I think as a product owner, we are responsible for enabling a product life cycle where security risk can be identified early and addressed effectively without compromising on the agility of the whole process. You need to understand and own what is the residual risk of, let's say, a new development, or the inherent risk of using a new platform or a new framework. You also need to prioritize and plan for how would I get continuous improvements into my product so that my team is incrementally spending less and less time finding and fixing security issues.
Interesting. So let's dive a little bit deeper then. What process changes would you recommend to implement security as part of this regular product development lifecycle that you just described?
So, one thing where it starts is every product owner, for being an effective product owner, you need to make yourself a promise that you're going to deliver a high quality, secure product. What it means is that the product has to work as expected, even under attack, and if it fails gracefully. Like the first process change you would need to make is establishing a robust, decentralized risk management process. You need to know how to classify your products into different risk categories because not every security risk that will come in through the pipeline would be worth fixing. So, classification helps you with okay, this one needs to be fixed first, this one we can do later based on how what is the impact of their failure. So once you have that information, the next piece you need to plan fixes in your agile planning is understanding the likelihood of a security issue occurring. The decentralized nature of such a process allows teams to not only own the risk but also makes them accountable for mitigating it. The second major process change that I would recommend is finding an effective control selection process to come up with all of these mitigation tasks, right? So you can either use a process, you can either use a tool that already automates it, or you can have an internally built library on your site for the controls. And once you have the list, then you can triage these controls across your different phases of the development cycle. There are other product process changes also that you can introduce proactively to manage risk. Like, for example, let's say if your team is integrating with a new tool, then maybe you should consider doing a risk assessment first. If, let's say, you're bringing in a new framework, it is worthwhile spending some time conducting like a threat modeling assessment on it. Product owners can also start baking security right into the feature. So how you would go about it is like either you add it as an acceptance criteria to a user story, or you make it a part of the user story definition itself. The other recommended approach that I would also say is start prioritizing tech debt items that ensure these continuous security improvements. So basically, you're baking in security right into the architectural level in an incremental fashion. So, yeah, there are a lot of ways product owners can take the lead on delivering a secure product.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned the integration of security activities into the product lifecycle, and you're driving that based on priorities to push things forward. That's make sure that we've got security baked into the product, so we're not looking at having this left to the end and then saying, okay, now what do we need to do and how do we need to fix that? Because we go back again and then have to redo a lot of work as a result of that. So my question to you then is, we've talked about security and baking this into the product lifecycle itself, but how do we think about this from a competency perspective? Are there any core competencies that a product owner can develop to make this kind of a process more effective?
I think as product owners, building your expertise or cultivating just a general interest in the security and compliance domain is super helpful. Like the more you learn about how risk management frameworks work, the more you'll appreciate why security needs to be part from the design process itself. Another way would be like collaborate closely with your internal security team, find out what they find down the line right before you even start building the product, and you can contribute to the establishment of an organization risk management policies, which is something I did with my last organization. Like I basically helped the organization with the security policy. So it's a typical case of the more you learn, the more you secure.
That's interesting. So we really are looking now at the intersection of multiple life cycles. We've got the sort of project management life cycle that goes on. We've got the software development life cycle that's happening. We have the product life cycle, and yet we have to make sure that all of these life cycles are working in such a way that we try to minimize the collisions and we're able to produce something out there based on the original vision of creating a secure product that is evolving on an ongoing basis. Purnima, is there any last comment or anything that you would like to say to our audience?
I think the basic design that we need is we need to understand that the more you shift security down the line, the cost of shifting that is really high. So a product owner owns a certain order of the pipeline. The other thing you can do is raise awareness regarding security in all the other stakeholder groups. Make them understand this is important. This is why we need to spend time, and find ways to make it in a way that you're not disrupting your agile process.
Makes a lot of sense. Purnima, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Can't get enough of the balancing act? Make sure to check out our website at www.securitycompass.com and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more episodes.